Welcome back to the Wine Squad, a fresh and exciting spin on South African wine with some dedicated South African wine lovers. This week, the show meets Katlego Mathobela, the sommelier that discovered her calling in life and how she oversees the impressive cellar at Saints in Johannesburg. But first of all, Banele Vakele is an assistant to South African Winemaker of the Year, Duncan Savage. But as David Mfeka discovers, he's also got his own exciting wine range that's starting to attract a lot of attention.
So, welcome everybody to the Wine Squad on this fine Wednesday. Here we are in the bustling metropolis of Cape Town, or also known as the New Age Cape Winelands, strangely enough. And I'm here with none other than Banele, who we are going to be learning all about very shortly. And having a very, very chilled chat with them and enjoying a glass of some of the finest wine produced in Cape Town by none other than the man himself.
Thanks, Dave.
So, Banele, first of all, how's it going?
Asiyaphila mfo khona zimbi. Bulela uThixo.
There we go.
I'm good, Dave, man.
There we go.
Nice to see you. It's always
Always a pleasure to see you too.
It's always fun times also being with you. It's always fun times.
But let's not get too much into those times. So tell us, Bud, just to start off, where are we exactly and where are you from?
So we're in Cape Town, Salt River, and the cool, not the so cool side of Cape Town. No, the cool side is like Woodstock, and then just after Woodstock, you enter the dark side of Cape Town. But it's where we make wine, and it's our home, and we love it here. It's obviously an urban cellar where we get in grapes from all over the Western Cape, and we make wine here. So it's a bit unique for South Africa, but it's something that is different and something that for us works for us. And
Great, man. And just with regards to a bit more about yourself as a man and a person, where are you from and how did you end up in Cape Town?
Dindo Domkos.
Love it.
Yeah. So I'm a Xhosa man. I come from the Eastern Cape in a small town called Ngamakwe, which is just next to Butterworth.
Yes.
So a lot of people will know Butterworth, but they will never know my town because it's just one street with pub and ShopRite, that's it. So we came as a family to the Western Cape while I was still young, and I started school here. So we came to Kailicha and made our lives here.
Oh, yeah. Great stuff. And at what stage did you discover a bit of a passion for wine, or know that you were going down on a wine journey, or keen for a wine journey, shall I say?
Back in high school. My matric year, I didn't know what I was going to study.
Yes.
So luckily for me, my high school is just opposite wine estate. And I got interested, I was much more curious on how you turn a simple juice into wine and different flavors, and being able to use my senses, being outside. So initially I wanted to be a farmer more than a winemaker, be outside, tend to the vineyards. But career-wise, sometimes, you take a different path, but at the end it all comes together.
Oh, yeah. Great. And so you've obviously always been drawn to being outside and in nature. And studies-wise, if I'm not mistaken, were you not at Elsenburg?
Yeah. So I studied at Elsenburg, which is much more technical, which I loved. So less
Great
books,
stuff.
more hands-on
Practical.
approach.
Yes. More of this.
more tastings.
Yeah.
So you get to run basically a full-on cellar at Elsenburg with the guidance, obviously, of a lecture. So we don't make vinegar. Some of us have made vinegar, but it's all part of the learning phase.
Yes, of course.
So I studied there, winemaking, and then after that, I got into the protege program. Yeah.
Oh, epic. So when you say the protege program, I'm assuming you are referring to the CWG?
Yes.
Okay, and tell me a bit more about that and how that kind of works.
So the CWG program is a 3-year mentorship program. So CWG stands for Cape Winemakers Guild, which is
Yes.
an organization of basically around about the 50 top winemakers in the country. And, you know, you get mentored by different winemaker on those 3 years that you're part of the program. And that's how I met my current boss, Duncan, and this is his place and where I make my wine. So he was the one, you know, who gave me a stepping stone to actually make Thembela wines possible.
Oh, wonderful. So, by Duncan, you are referring to Duncan Savage, obviously
Yeah.
the man who you have guided to win the winemaker of the year, according to Tim Eichten.
I would love to think so.
No, great stuff, man. And obviously, with all the experience that you've had, you have seemingly decided to make these 2 beautiful wines that are in front of us. And a great story, great name to them, which obviously we'll find out about now. And what I actually wanted to ask you is, well, let's actually start off with why Thembela and why these specific 2 varietals? It seems like a very focused approach,
Yes.
which is obviously always good.
You know, when you're starting out your own project, there's a lot of things to consider, and you kind of go back and forth always until you have something that you love. So this has been in the works for some time now, and you know, I'm really glad that I got the stepping stone from Duncan. So the name of the brand is Thembela Wines, and Thembela is my mother's name. So depending on the context that you use it in, it's a closer word.
Yes.
And it can mean faith, hope, and belief,
Yes.
depending on how you use it. And you know, there's Thembela Wines at the bottom, but it's not. I didn't want to make it out there.
Yes.
I wanted to tell a story with the label rather than just the name. So here we have 2 ladies that are wearing traditional attire.
Yes.
I always say this because I'm proud of where I come from. So that's, you know, one of my passions. And also they're carrying on top of each other, on top of their heads, they're carrying barrels, which is also my passion and my love, my
Yes.
life currently. So this basically represents, the lady represents my mother. And then, you know, as you tell the story, you find out that it's no longer my story, it's everyone's story.
Of course.
Everyone had a mother or a mother figure that supported them in their life. And that's why I included the second lady to make it much more of, you know, appealing to everyone. So sadly, my mother passed away just before I released the wine due to cancer. So it's a fitting tribute to her.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Terribly sorry to obviously hear about that, but what a great way and what a great tribute, and it definitely does come through in the quality of the wine, which brings me to my next question. Why specifically Verdelho? Sorry, not Verdelho, Chenin Blanc and Syrah.
Yeah, you're not wrong there with the Verdelho. So last year, my first release was a
no.
Verdelho.
Sorry, yes.
So the first release was a Verdelho, and now in my second year, it's a Chenin. So for me, it's all about expressing, you know, what I think it's an interesting vineyard, and also a vineyard which I know can produce really high standards of wine. So I always try and go out and find really interesting vineyards to actually showcase in the Western Cape.
Yes.
Because I make small quantities of the wines. It's really hard to actually get vineyards where you kind of get long-term contracts with. So you kind of, you know, bounce around and talk to farmers and see what you can get out of the farmers. Yeah.
Fair enough. Obviously, these wines obviously are very small batches,
Yeah.
highly sought after. So this would be your second vintage, am I
Yep.
correct in saying that?
Yep.
So the first vintage was Verdelho.
Yeah. Which you enjoyed very
Yes,
much.
geez, it sold out within a heartbeat. And why? So obviously, could you not get the same kind of level of fruit with the second vintage, or what happened that you didn't go back to Verdelho and change to Chenin?
No, it was for me. It was just interesting because we heard about this vineyard which is in Durbanville.
Yes.
A Chenin
Oh
vineyard.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not
not
something...
not your Stellenbosch or your
Yeah.
Swartland or anything like that.
So it's not something which is common in the industry to have a Chenin Blanc from Durbanville, and which is also old vine.
Yes.
So it's about 38, 39 old bush vines. So it's something unique that it's really rare to get in that area. So I just wanted to showcase it more, and it showed a lot of potential. So we went with it, and
I can definitely attest to that.
yeah. So the wine, we try with winemaking, we try to interfere less or be
Let the vineyard speak for
you know,
itself. No fancy tricks in the
nothing.
in the cellar.
nothing. You just guide the wine through, but the wine must do the talking and not me.
No, 100%. And just circling back to your red, obviously you've gone for Syrah 2 years in a row now. And is that something that you will carry on doing, or obviously you will change over when you feel that you found another vineyard or something a bit more niche, or what's your approach to the red?
There's so much vineyards out there of good Syrah that, as a variety which is very versatile and now showcasing, a lot of winemakers are showcasing a lot of different Syrahs, and they all, a lot of them are really, really good and world class. And it's something that, it's a variety that I love and I wanted to work with. And it's a variety that also here at the cellar that we work with a lot. So we have a huge passion with it, or passion for it.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. And I mean, you hit it bang on. It's a very noble variety, which should be championed as a singular varietal, as you have done now, and also a very versatile varietal as well, in the sense that you can obviously blend it with a hell of a lot more interesting parcels that you could come across in the future.
Different soils bring out different components in the wine. There's so much. A Syrah from Swartland and a Syrah from Constantia, totally different to a Syrah in Stellenbosch. You can go the wooded option, you can go the unwooded option.
Of course.
There's so much you can do with it. You can bring in much more meaty, dark fruit. You can bring in the spices and the perfume.
There we go.
It's just a wonderful variety to work with,
And well, I know for myself, it's absolutely incredible, both of them. But what have you found has been the reception out with the people that have obviously gone on to try it and have bought some? I mean, from what I've heard, everyone has absolutely loved it, and they are spot on.
Yeah.
You must be pretty stoked with yourself.
Yeah, the first release, I have to say I was a bit overwhelmed with the support that I got from everyone.
Yes.
With the second release, it just got better and better. And, I really appreciate the support that everyone has been giving. And I always say, hard work pays off. It's just, it doesn't mean now you get a little bit of...
Yes, no, of course.
And then you kind of like,
very easy.
That means that you have to work harder, because now someone else is going to want to outshine you. So for me, it was really, nice that everyone liked the wine and it was well received and sold out. But now it means that I have to start all over again and work harder. Yeah.
100%, and obviously with such a bolster and such an exciting start, with you being 2 vintages in, I mean, are there any secrets? I mean, where does Banele see himself going? Is the next step world wine domination? Where are we going here?
I think I'm on the right track, eh?
You're trying to keep your aces close to your chest. Fair enough, fair enough.
No, for me, it's basically still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still learning from Duncan.
Yes.
I'm still learning winemaking. I'm still learning the business side of the industry.
Yes.
Remember, when you're studying winemaking, they don't teach you the business side of winemaking.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part. Selling wine is the hardest thing. Making wine, easy, because you have all your work done in the vineyards. Just bring in the grapes. You can do so much. You just have to do the basics, and you're good to go. And I'm, like I said, I'm learning and learning every day from Duncan. I'm learning from the team here. So for now, I'm still basically learning until I feel like, I can go bigger. But I don't, for the next 5 years, I'm still learning the game. I'm still learning winemaking. I'm still learning the business side.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to always stay ahead of the curve. obviously to get to where you need to be. But yeah, I mean, there you have it, folks. This is Banele, and he is going to be taking over the wine industry in the next couple years. And yeah, here we are from Salt River.
Cheers, eh?
Cheers. Thank you so much for your time, bud.
Thanks, eh?
From Banele's wine to someone who'll be pouring plenty of them, Katlego Mathobela is one of a new wave of exciting young sommeliers. Our very own Sanani catches up with the top sop at Saint in Johannesburg for a small catch-up.
One of my favorite things about wine is not only drinking it, but it's the stories we get to tell around the wine. Today I get to sit down with one of my favorite sommeliers in the country, Kat from Saint. Hello, Kat.
Hey, how you doing?
Fun and you.
Good, good.
So we're sitting at Saint today over a lovely glass of wine, and I just want to hear a little bit about your story, how you got into wine, and actually let's maybe take it back to your first glass of wine or your introduction to wine.
It's a very funny story, honestly. Slightly racial also. And mostly I was just thrown under the bus.
Okay.
And I just learned to just drive it, because what must happen? So I would say second year into college, I was tired of being at home, staying at my sister's house back then. And I got a job in hospitality just to try and figure out where my journey is career-wise while still in school as well. And I got a job as a waitress.
Okay.
So because I was still in school, my English was a little bit more polished. And also I was still like training myself into how to speak to people. An introvert that I am, that was not something that I was really good at all. I was just put me in a box, tell me what to do, and leave me alone.
Do you?
Yeah. So waitressing job, I'm exposed to like a lot of people, different cultures, personalities, races, and just dealing with all of that. Wine came into it.
Okay.
So how I first got introduced to it was the senior waitress would say to me, "You know how to speak English, go talk to the white people about wine." And I was like to myself, I don't even know
You don't know
wine.
anything about wine.
So what is the most expensive,
Okay.
most popular name I've seen
Okay.
on TV and radio? And let's just go lie.
Really?
So I lied.
So some of us have like different experiences with that in terms
Yeah.
of we get introduced, as you say, with the most expensive bottle. Did you just go for it in terms of, did you drink a little bit to be able to tell the story, or were you not a drinker at all?
I was a typical, just started drinking vodka and box wine.
Okay.
Pretty
much like all of us.
Yes, 19, 20-year-old from Polokwane. Mother never allowed us to drink at all.
Yeah.
And if I did, I would like go to study sessions and they will have like Hunter's Dries and Hunter's Gold, Smirnoff, that kind of stuff. Sweet, basically, and you get sloshed immediately. So yeah, I just read up on the most popular names.
Okay.
Most expensive. If you're wearing anything expensive on you, you can afford it. Lie.
But that says a lot about you as well, because it's a level of confidence to be able to do that. Bravery one, but a lot of confidence to be able to say, okay, I'm going to read up on this, but I'm going to tell it with conviction, with confidence, and pretend like I know.
Yeah, tasting notes honestly were the best thing for me to try and get into. So I would picture plums and blackcurrants and chocolate in that glass, and I will make you believe it's there. As time went on, obviously, I invested in myself. I did some research. And I was like, you know what, let me just put effort into it. And the more effort I put into it, I realized that there is actually a whole world based around this than just what I'm actually being exposed to at that time.
That's very interesting, because I followed a little bit of your journey, and I know that from that point till now, you've got your level 3 certificate, which is an outstanding achievement.
Okay.
And probably one of the only black sommeliers who has it in the country.
I would say a handful.
Handful of you guys.
Black female wise,
Black
I'll
female.
put it that way, because it's still a male dominated industry.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was hard, but we achieved it, man.
So tell me a little bit about that. So from there to your level 3 certificate, but also being the head sommelier at Saint now. How does a day-to-day work at Saint? You're the head sommelier, so I'm guessing you're a little bit in charge with the lovely stuff that we love to drink. You get to call the shots on that. So how does that work?
The main thing for Saint was looking at the cuisine.
Yes.
Obviously, we are Italian-based, so that means a lot of pizzas, cream-made-based pastas. We do have a grill session, but the menu is essentially what you're going to build your wine list out of. And try and pair the a la carte menu, which is very vast, to a very Bible-looking wine list. So that the idea is to accommodate each and every tax bracket. So not only just, your 1%ers, but also your working class and so forth. So the idea around the wine list was to, even by the wine by glass, we have your more entry levels, and we have something a little bit more premium, just to accommodate, each and every customers and tastes. And I would say building the wine list itself is actually harder than what it looks. The fun part of it is we are digital now, so I can get to add and subtract as we go and see how things go, how customers are receiving certain stuff. And I'm just grateful at the moment that they are trying new things, your Viogniers, your Semillons, and stuff that they wouldn't normally.
Yeah, that's probably the most important thing, is that when you go out to a restaurant, you want to try different things. And you look at the menu, sometimes it's overwhelming. You look at things that you've seen before or names that you heard of. So what are your recommendations when I open the wine list? Do I start at my price point, or do I start at what I feel like that evening?
Honestly, I would say open a wine list with a blank mind.
Okay.
And first explore what we have first.
Okay.
Then decide I'm going to have champagne or MCC or white wine or red wine. Okay. And what I mostly encourage my customers to do is think first what they want to eat. Okay. So now that it's in itself, we're trying to pair your a la carte menu with the bottle you're going to essentially have as the night goes on. And the nice thing, the customers, most of them were a little bit angry with me at first. Most of the wines that I have on the list are actually very small, niche, and boutique.
That's probably good. Yeah.
And the idea was, over and above your commercial wines that we have in your shelves, in your stores, there's actually better stuff that they make from it that you're not aware of. And there's actually other nicer, more price-conscious wines that are actually there with good value and good quality that won't even hurt your pocket at all. So it's not just drinking your Lamots or your Vergelegens. You can now drink a Duvethof, or what we're going to have now, your Ekendals, And that is the picture I want them to have, not just, okay, I'm going to say we're going to have a Merlot with Arabiata.
Okay.
It's, what is this Cab Franc? Do you guys have a sommelier?
Can I speak to him?
Yes, and then we just start talking, what is Sangiovese? Why is it the way it is? Let's try this Cab Franc. Why is it the body the way it is? What makes it so special? Yeah. Then we converse, and you try something new at a reasonable price. Next time you're gonna bring a table of 6 with family. Next thing you know, we're hosting Discovery, and it's a corporate function, starting from a 400 bottle of wine that you had with Katlego.
See, it just takes you out through an education journey. You get to understand different wines. Before we get to the one that you've chosen for us today, I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot. Any varietal, no price point. You're having dinner with a very good friend. What are we drinking?
We will have the 2016 Porcelansberg from Swartland.
Yes.
And the reason for that is completely based on winemaking.
All right, just the process of winemaking.
Yes.
All right. Do they have a good process there?
So what they do is they pick their grapes very early in the morning.
Okay.
As you would get to know, Shiraz is very small grapes with very thick, purpley kind of skin to it. And they macerate them cold, so they can nicely extract the colors nice and gently. And my favorite part is they get fermented in concrete eggs that are underground.
Oh, wow.
For a period of, I think it's 18 to 24 months.
So not your typical barrels?
No.
Yeah, that's
and there is hardly oxygen contact that comes with the
Comes to
wine.
it.
So it gives it a very pure expressiveness of the fruit, but the egg still gives it a nice minerality and salinity and structure to it without actually overpowering the wine itself, and lets the actual grape speak for itself. And everything is handmade, hand-picked, hand everything. That means gentle.
Yeah, so that's what
gentle.
you're picking for a nice dinner with a friend.
Yes.
Okay,
I
I
would
can
do
take
that.
that. That's a very good bottle of wine. Kat, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. I'm always a fan, and here's to many more awards, more education, more wines,
Yes.
and more storytelling over a bottle of wine.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Katlego Mathobela and Banele Vakele, two of the many young South Africans having fun and success in equal measures in the wine industry. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time when David Mfeka wraps up the roaring success of Cape Wine. See you soon, and Tobe.